Alright, hello everybody, welcome to the first week of Tuesday tutorials. Now, probably wondering what in the world is this? Well, to put it simple, I'm just gonna analyze a game every week, go through it step by step, and maybe try to figure out what went wrong, some interesting things that happened, just kind of focus more on the strategy of the game, not as much on matchups or deck building or anything like that, just the strategy. You know, thinking about how you can do the best possible move with the options presented to you. So, this is meant to be an interactive show. I want to try to interact with people in the chat. So, always stay active, ask questions if you have any. I'm going to ask you questions, see what you would do in my spot. And the first week, I'm just going to pick a game that I've done. A game I recorded a while ago. But in the future, I want you guys to send me in your games so I can kind of go through them. Maybe I can help you guys out, improve your play a little bit, and also it helps me to learn, so it's always a good thing. So, one of the things like Pokemon TCG Online and Play TCG even, one of the things they let you do now with our super duper advanced technology is you can actually record the games and you can go back and look at them. So, here that's what we're going to do. We're going to take advantage of this. Kind of like in other sports, you know what happens. They go back in the film room, they watch tape, and they study. They see what happens, see where they can improve. And that's kind of what we're going to do here. So, first game, we got one I played a while ago. Probably a month ago. So, without further ado, let us switch over to the game. Alright, so, as you can see, this is a game I played against someone named Pi Beyonce. Now, this game was kind of embarrassing. I'll be honest, it did not go as planned. So the lesson for this week is going to be how to deal with a situation where everything breaks down and nothing is going right. Because Pokemon, people always like to break it down. They like to say, oh, this matchup, 70% for one deck, 30% win rate for the other deck, and that's just how it's supposed to go. People don't account for, even if it is a 70-30 matchup, they don't account for the fact that, well, those 30% do happen. So, let's just kind of watch a game where everything breaks down, and what do we do about it? So, we're going to see him playing an Emboar Ninetales deck, and I have no idea what my opponent is playing. I see a Phanpy, and right off the bat I see a Pokeball. Why? So, my opponent's deck probably isn't the greatest, so I'm just checking over the Pokeball and freaking out about it, apparently. And I see a Phanpy and a Tornadus, so it started off normally, but we see a Pokemon and Engineer's adjustments. So right off the bat, I probably get a little overconfident. I'm thinking, alright, this guy has nothing. I'm probably just going to set up and overwhelm him. So he attaches to Phanpy and passes. So, as you can see, I run a Slugma. Embarrassingly enough, I had a 1-1 Macargo in the deck at the time. Let's ignore that. But here is lesson number 1. I'm playing a Collector. Now, this is something I see a lot of players not do. You play a Collector, you get to search through your deck, take advantage of it. Search through your prizes, and as we found here, I had 2 of my 3 Ninetales prize. So, right off the bat, I know, oh, I probably don't need another Vulpix. I might need one in case of a catcher, but I'm going to assume most people go after Tepig. So, I only grab 1 Vulpix, knowing that there are 2 prized, and I'm just going to retreat and eke. Pretty straightforward. I need to get a new hand. Now here, I'm going to draw my 6 cards, and let's pause. You see these 6 cards. What is going through your head at this point? Probably, oh crap. This is not anything nearly playable. I would have to top deck out of this. I have to hope Cleffa survives, something like that. And, well, it's just not looking good. But, as we saw, my opponent played a Pokeball, an Engineer's Adjustment, so I don't even know if he has a Donphan Prime. I don't know if he has anything. So, we're going to play normally, and let's continue from here. So, my Cleffa wakes up, And right off the bat, I'm thinking, uh-oh, maybe Cleffa won't live. And then where do we go from here? And this is where things are going to start to break down. So, he's got a Phanpy. He benches a Cleffa, so I'm thinking he might retreat. And then he evolves into Donphan, but not the Donphan I'm used to. So, right off the bat, we see a Rock Hurl for 50, and things just got bad. Cleffa got knocked out, and I'm losing to a Rock Hurl Donphan. So, what do? We promote Slugma. The reason I put Slugma down last turn is I kind of figured Cleffa would get knocked down. I just wanted kind of a chump to sacrifice. So, I'm fortunate enough to top deck Collector. Or, not Collector, Communication. So, I play it. I search for Ninetales. That's going to be the only thing that gets me going. So, I need to draw cards. I need a big hand to do anything with an Emboar deck. So, I'm going to Roast Reveal. Draw 3 cards. And, not the worst in the world. I get a Communication. It's going to set me up for next turn. I don't really foresee Ninetales getting knocked out by that Donphan. He would have to have a catcher, and then something absurd like 2 heads, or a couple plus powers and a heads, because the second attack, it does 70 for each heads, and you flip 2 coins. So, you need 2 out of 2 heads, and that's about it. So now we see a catcher, and I'm thinking, okay, this guy can afford catcher, but he can't afford a Donphan Prime. What is happening? And, I still don't think I'm in that big of a hole, but holy crap. He just got 2 heads for double spin. So, my Ninetales is gone, and I am left with this. So, at this point, what would you do? If you were me, how would you possibly try to get out of this situation? Who would you promote here? What would you do? Would you cry? Would you concede? How do you possibly find a way out? So, first things first, I guess flip the table. So, who are you going to promote first? Keeping in mind, Slugma will not provide me any energy acceleration or anything like that. There's no Shaman, there's no energy switch. He's there for Macargo, because Macargo can do infinite damage to stuff like Suicune, Anti-Legend, etc. So, who do you promote here? What do you guys think? Seeing Tepig with no energy. Let's see, I got Sacrifice Slugma. What do you guys got? Alright, yeah. So, everybody agrees. Sacrifice Slugma. And that's what I would do too. Slugma is going to be worthless. I need to send up somebody to buy time. And if I were me, I would send up Slugma, and thankfully I did. Now, I top deck a Tepig. That's going to allow me to play Communication if I need to. But at this point, there's really nothing in my deck that can really help me. My other 2 Ninetales are prized. My Vulpix is knocked out. So what could I possibly Communication for? I could get an Emboar out, but what's the point, honestly? It's just going to get knocked out. So, I'm just going to hold on to the Communication and pass. Something people don't realize is they can actually hold on to cards. You don't have to play everything immediately. So you just hold on to it, and you wait. And I didn't play a single card from my hand, so my opponent probably thinks my hand is terrible. There's no reason for him to judge, unless he is a mind reader. And we're going to see a dual ball for Sock. So this is going to make me feel even worse. I'm down 2 prizes to a bad Donphan. And, yeah, you got another heads. Down goes Slugma, so I'm down 3 prizes. And now what? So, now I'm going to send up Tepig, because I know there should be 2 fire energy in my discard pile. I can Communication for Emboar and start attacking. So, I would think that's the way to go here. What else can you do besides cry? Because he's going to be the only attacker you can get anytime soon. The other option is to Collector for Rush Ram, promote it, and just pass, buy time. And that's about it. So, What decision would you make? Would you communication for Embor, rare candy, hit him for 80, knowing that you're going to get hit for 70, and then probably get knocked off by a hurricane? Or would you hold the fisherman, play a collector for a couple of rush rams and maybe another basic, and then just set up a rush ram, buy a turn, pass, and then next turn play the fisherman? So, which one do you want to attack with? I was going to pause that for a question, but I answered it myself. So, I'm actually going to decide to go for rush ram here. Why would I do that? Honestly, I can't afford to have this Embor die. At this point in the game, my resources are all very precious. I have no Ninetales. I have no way of drawing through my deck. So every single thing is going to count. So I get 2 rush rams out. He can double spin, but if he gets 1 heads, I'm just gonna fisherman for 3 fire, blue flare, and knock him out. I also did not rare candy into Embor that turn. Now, why wouldn't I do that? Well, let's say he has another catcher, and he drags out Embor. I'm going to lose. It's pretty straightforward. So, there's no reason to rare candy into Embor immediately. He could just get trapped by a catcher, and this is another small thing you don't want to do. And here, he gets 2 more heads for Donphan. So, okay. Pause. Let's recap. I started with a Cleffa versus a Phanpy. He played a Pokeball on his first turn. I got knocked out by a Rock Hurl by this horrible Donphan. It's not even Donphan Prime. Okay, I got a Ninetales out. I saw 2 Ninetales were prized. I started Roast Revealing. He catchers out the Ninetales, gets 2 heads for double spin, knocks out my Ninetales too. Where do we go from here? I've just been buying time, trying to set stuff up, just setting up high hit point Pokemon so I don't get knocked out over and over. But now, he's down, or he's taken his 4th prize here. He's going to take his 4th one. How am I going to come back from down 4 prizes? He's got a Tornadus fully set up on the bench. I'll be able to knock out this first Donphan, but it's going to be an uphill battle. So, first things first. The first thing you got to realize is you don't freak out. Even though everything is going wrong, don't freak out, because that's just going to make it worse. Take your time, analyze your options, and do whatever you can. Sometimes you can't win, but you can always play your best. You always have to figure out what you can do with what you have in front of you. In a perfect world, I would love to have all my stuff. I would have 2 Ninetales burning through my deck. I would have Embor. I would have all this other stuff. But I don't. So I have to work with this. So now, I'm going to do the only thing I can do. Blue Flare. Knockout. Take my first prize. I knock out that Donphan that's been terrorizing me the entire game. And maybe this is a start to a comeback. He's got Tornadus, but that's about it. He's got that Sock that's not very threatening. He's got a Cleffa. But the thing he has on his side is time. Now, finally, he's flipping tails for something. He got 0 for 2 on Dual Ball. But I was going to say he has time on his side. He is up 3 prizes, so he has all day to kind of set himself back up. So, off my prize, I didn't get too much helpful. And we see a Bouffalant, so, it's going to be tough for me to actually take so many prizes without giving up 2 more. He can Hurricane here, and then a Bouffalant follow-up will knock me out for sure. So I'm going to be down to 1 prize, and it's not looking good. So he moves an energy to the Phanpy, and I'm thinking, oh no, not that Donphan again. So, let's see. Here, I have the option of attaching both of my energy, and then using Blue Flare. Or I can catch or something, and knock it out with Outrage. So, let's pause for a second. What do you want to do here? You have a catcher in your hand, just for purposes of knowing what's in my deck. There's only 1 on the whole deck. There's 1 or 2 junk arms in my deck. My resources are very precious, very limited. So what do? Do you Blue Flare the active Tornadus, Or do you save one of your energy, catch or something, and then outrage it for a knockout? What would you guys do here? It's actually a very tough decision. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer, but I'm just kind of curious. What would people do here? So let's see, we have Blue Flare It, Kill Tornadus, Death the Tornadus. Tornadus is the devil, knock him out. Saying Outrage Buffalant. Okay, so you guys are on the same page as me. What I'm seeing is 2 of his energy are on this Tornadus. So even though I could catch her and save one of my own energy, I'm probably better off just knocking out the thing that has energy. You know, there's a chance he has a down fan, but you know, I have to kind of risk it at this point. I can't catch her something out and knock it out, because then he's just going to attach another energy, he's going to hurricane, he's going to knock me out, and I'm going to be in an even worse spot. So, best bet here is to knock out this Tornadus, and also I'm going to rare candy into the other Embor, just so he doesn't have a free prize to catch her and get a knockout. So, let's Blue Flare, and there we go. So, get a knockout. Now, look at my hand. I have 2 Tep Eggs, a Fire, and a Catcher. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. This is actually really gross. I'm still expecting to lose this game, and what is this? He has a real Donphan. Donphan Prime, and at this point I gotta be thinking, well, it was a good ride, but sometimes the bad fan, Donphan combo gets you. So now we have a Donphan Prime. He's gonna Earthquake me for a knockout, and it's not looking good. So, I'm basically in top deck mode, and as you can see, he did play a Bill. A very good card, about 10 years ago. And this is just like insult to injury. I've been knocked out by the bad Donphan. He's playing Bill. There's an energy returner, putting 4 fighting back in his deck. So this guy is just playing every card that you shouldn't be playing. But he's still beating me. You know, you can't underestimate your opponent, even though he's playing these clearly bad cards. You're in a situation where you have no right to make fun of anybody because you're losing. So, don't curse your luck. Don't say, well, this is stupid. I shouldn't be losing like this. No, you try to find a way out. So, what I'm going to do is promote the bad Embor, and I'm going to try to buy some time. You know, he benched that Buffalant, but there's no energy on it, and I'm going to pass. You know, maybe he doesn't have a switch or a way to retreat it. If that's the case, I can buy some time, and that's really my only option. I can't let Donphan just hit me. He's down to 1 prize. But let's be clear, he's got 1 prize to take, and a Donphan with 2 energy on it. It's not good. I also don't need to attach the fire energy because Infernal Fandango allows me to play as many as I want, so I might as well just put it down, or I might as well just hold on to it and then put all of the energy down at once. There's no reason to attach 1 energy somewhere. And then if he would play a catcher or even something silly like a crushing hammer that could discard it, I would gain no use from playing that energy, and it would set me back. So, now we are using the strategy that you encounter quite a bit when you're losing this badly in a game. We call this the hope and pray strategy, where you hope your opponent just has nothing the rest of the game. 99% of the time, this does not work out. But, you know, might as well try for that 1% of the time. So, he played an Elm's training method, and I don't think he actually took anything. So, that tells you the caliber of opponent I am facing. You should always take something. So, here, you know, this is probably as embarrassing as it gets. We're losing to the bad Donphan. Nothing on our field. You know, I'm streaming in front of all these people who are tuning in to watch a quote-unquote professional Pokemon player. And I'm losing to this. I'm losing to Bill. So it's a little embarrassing, but hey, it is what it is. Pokemon is partly a game of luck. It happens. And I'm going to play till I lose, basically. That's always been my motto. Never give up until it's over. And hey, alright, he's still passing. And now, he's actually kind of making a silly mistake. He is attaching to his bench instead of just attaching to Buffon and retreating. I guess he's kind of paranoid that I'll knock him out. But in reality, he should just attach and try to retreat. So, here I finally draw a chair and I get 3 cards. Maybe there's some hope here. And I heat crash him for 50. Now, let's be clear. I do not want to knock this thing out just yet. Why would I not want to knock him out? I want to take a prize, right? No. He is stuck. He's got a 2 retreat cost. I want to either make him burn the resources to retreat, or wait until I am fully set up to do anything. What I did was hit him for 50, maybe scaring him into not attaching there. That was kind of my plan with doing 50. You know, if I actually do want to knock it out later, I can just use heat crash for 50 and knock it out that way so I don't have to discard energy. And also, I just wanted to scare him into not doing anything. So, now I draw a switch. You know, that'll be useful for later, but I don't really need it right now. So, let's take another second to pause here. Looking at my hand, I have a Tepig, another Tepig, a Vulpix, a Macargo, a Switch, and a Fisherman. So what do you want to do here? Do you want to attach and actually take the knockout on Buffon, knowing that there's a Donphan and a Tornadus sitting, waiting for you on the bench? Or do you just kind of pass and, try to draw into some new stuff, be patient, and try to win that way? You know, right now, if we look at it, if I heat crash the Buffon for a knockout, what's going to happen? Probably nothing good. So, alright, so I got some people saying pass. Some people saying... Alright, so most people are saying pass. And that's gotta be what the right play is here. Think about what happens if I actually hit him for 50 and knock him out. Sure, I get a prize. But then what? Donphan comes up, he does 90. Then what do? I could Flare Blitz him, knock out the Donphan, and then Tornadus comes up and I have lost. So that's not a good option. Even if he just sends up Tornadus and hits me for 80, there's going to be a follow-up attacker knocking me out. So I need to make sure I can get enough attackers to, A, knock out something, and then when he comes up with one of his attackers, I need to be able to switch or retreat to a different attacker that can knock out his guys in one hit and not be returned by a knockout. So it's a complicated situation where I have to knock his stuff out, and then after I take a hit, I have to switch to something that still has high enough hit points to not get knocked out, and then at the same time knock his stuff out in one hit. Because that's the only way I'm going to make up the prize difference. I don't have any cards like Max Potion that can just heal all the damage off, although I wish I did at this point. I don't. So I have to play very carefully, and the correct move here is to pass. Now, I could play Fisherman just to get the 4 energy back, and then just have it in case I draw another supporter. I think that would be a decent play. Yeah, I would probably play the Fisherman before I pass, just to get all this energy back in my hand. We'll see if I actually do that. I don't really remember. But at this point, I am 100% certain that I want to pass here. Attacking will lose me the game every time. Passing lets me win some of the time. So let's just pass. So, taking a while here. Hurry up, Kyle. Do something. So, I was probably going through this thought process as I was playing. And yep, we play the Fisherman. So, I get the 4 energy back. And I don't know if I actually want to attack here. Something I could do is Heat Crash for 50. Then take a hit. Then switch to my benched Embor. Heat Crash. The Donphan or whatever comes up. But then I'm going to get into a spot where both of my Embors take a hit and I'm going to lose. So, alright. waiting for Pi Beyonce to acknowledge Fisherman. It is a beautiful card. It's got some cool art on it. I don't know why it's taking so long, though. One of the annoying parts of PTCGO is having to wait for your opponent. These things don't happen in real life, which can make online play frustrating. Hopefully it gets sorted out in the future, but yeah. Waiting for Pi Beyonce here. Something I wish they would implement is like having older versions of cards as alternate art forms. There was the Skyridge Fisherman, or was it Aquapolis? Somebody let me know. Which set was it? I think it was Aquapolis. It would make sense, Aqua. But it might be Skyridge, actually. Yeah, I think it's Skyridge. So, yeah, it'd be cool to have these older arts, but I doubt they'll ever do that. So, I'm just checking over all my options. I want to make sure I don't make a silly mistake that loses me the game instantly, because my opponent is at 1 prize, and honestly, a single mistake will end the game. So, here, I have to pass. So, that took about 5 minutes, but hey, I passed. So now my opponent is probably onto me. Eventually, he's going to figure out, oh, I need to attach to Bouffalant and retreat, not sit here and attach to my bench Pokemon over and over. Or maybe he might. Maybe he's just thinking, okay, you want to play this game? I'll just build up so many attackers so that when you finally knock me out, because you're going to have to, I'll be able to just have so many attackers that you cannot deny me a prize eventually. So, looks like that's what he's going to do. He's going to attach to that Excadrill, which does 80 for 3, and he's going to pass. So now I have to make a decision, because I'm at a point where I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe I can't just sit here and do this forever. There's a timing I have to hit. I have to be able to survive all of his attackers and be able to knock out all of his stuff in one hit. But if I wait too long, he'll get too many attackers, and then I'll just lose. So, I don't think this is the turn where I need to spring into action or anything like that. But, it's getting close to it. I might have to do something next turn. So, right now, I don't want to bench anything else either, by the way. If I were to bench another Tepig, it could just be a catcher and an instant loss. I need to keep high hit point Pokemon on my field, deny prizes in any way I can. And let me just reiterate here, I do not expect to win this game. I am down 3 prizes. My hand is still ugly. He's got a bunch of attackers lying in wait, and now he's attaching to Bouffalant. This is where I need to make a move. He's finally triggered me to do something. If he attaches again, I'm going to lose. If I let him just retreat and attack me with Donphan. So, here I'm actually going to play a switch. And Inferno Fandango, 4 energy onto this Emboar. Now, alright, let's stop. Let's cut to me. Alright, so, how do we want to do this? I have this huge Emboar that can do 50 for 3 or 150 for 4. Why would I want to switch to my other Emboar that only does 80? Let's think about it for a second. What happens if I knock him out with the bad Emboar? I hit him for 50, and then it takes a hit, and then I just can't attack with it anymore. It gets knocked out if I leave it active. So it's kind of a waste. Now what happens if I switch to the other Emboar, knock out the Bouffalant for 80, and attack with that? Well, he can hit me with Donphan, in which case I just retreat, and then I do 150 to him. And then maybe he runs out of attackers because I'm just doing 150 over and over. So I think this is actually my only way to win. Normally you don't want to put that Emboar active, but in this situation it calls for it. So, let's get back to it. I'm going to set up Emboar, the good Emboar, the hero Emboar, attach to it with Inferno Fandango. Alright. Still got to go through that process. And Heat Crash for 80. And there we go. So my prize is not useful at all. There are no useful basics in my deck. So he's actually going to send up Tornadus here, which I don't mind. It'll conserve an energy for him. But at this point I'm thinking, he's sending up Tornadus. Maybe a way I can win. Now, this is still a long shot. I can retreat after he hits me, Heat Crash, or what is it, Flare Blitz, whatever it is, the 150 attack, yeah, Flare Blitz, 150 knock out the Tornadus. And then I have my Rayquaza Deoxys Legend somewhere in the deck. Now, I've knocked out his Bouffalant, and I've knocked out his Tornadus at that point. And hey, twins. So, wait a second, this might not be so bad. So, I could take a prize this turn, and then RDL the next turn, and I could actually win? What? So, finally, after so much crap that's happened in this game, I'm catching a break. I top deck the twins. But what do you grab off of this twins? There's so many cards you want. You want both Rayquaza Deoxys Legend halves. You want energy retrievals to get back energy. You want Junk Arm for a switch, maybe. I mean, you actually just want so much stuff. And I guess Twins is the first card you take because you need to play another one. And I kind of need to hope I just top deck into something or buy enough time to where I can just Twins for enough cards. So I'm going to play a Twins for a Twins and a Junk Arm. Now, why would I get Junk Arm here? Pretty simple. It's the most versatile card I could get. It gives me the most options to top deck something. If I grab Twins and a Junk Arm, that Junk Arm can turn into all sorts of things. It can be a switch I need. It can be the energy retrieval I need. It can be a communication for an RDL half. It can be pretty much whatever I want. It could also be a catcher if I need that. So, RDL definitely the most versatile thing out here. So now, I'm going to retreat the big Emboar, send up the other Emboar, attach, and at this point, I can feel fine benching more Pokemon because, hey, why not? I actually should have benched all of my Pokemon, just because he can no longer, or if he had a catcher, I mean, it doesn't matter which one he picks. Emboar gets knocked out, so does Tepig. So I could bench more Pokemon here. And I guess the reason I wouldn't bench all of them is to hold on to cards for Junk Arm, but Macargo is useless, Collector is useless, so that's not really a worry. I actually should have benched a Vulpix, to be honest. Knowing there are 2 Ninetales prized, which are my last 2 prizes, by the way, I should have benched Vulpix just in case I got a Ninetales. Could have allowed me to draw into more cards. And now you see I actually drew Twins. What? So, I can actually win quite easily here. At this point, I have Twins, I have Fisherman, I have Energy Retrieval, I have Junk Arm. So if I top decked, there's a lot of things I could top deck. Actually, there might only be one. Energy Retrieval might get me a win. Actually, something I didn't realize is that I don't have the Lightning Energy. So, and I remember when I was playing this game, I was embarrassed that Macargo was in my deck. So I tried to put something over it to cover it up. Don't look at it. Alright, so at this point, I'm trying to take my last 2 prizes with Rayquaza Deoxys Legend. No doubt about it. How am I going to do that, though? I don't have an energy. My Lightning is on my active. I think there's another Lightning in the deck, but I don't have that. So I have to make a decision. Do I want to play Twins? Or do I want to play the Fisherman? So here, I think, honestly, my only option, and actually now that I think back to this, when I was playing this deck, it was so long ago, I only played 2 Ninetales in this deck, wow. So only 1 was prized, sorry. So now I remember, the second Lightning is prized, and the other one's on my active. So, what does that mean? Alright, I have to Twins for the RDL. I have to play it down, And the only way I can avoid him taking a prize is to retreat him, or retreat the active Embor, send up RDL. Now the only way I can retreat is energy retrieval. Get back to fire. Junk arm for the energy retrieval again. Get rid of that McCargo. See you, buddy. So get energy retrieval again. Get 2 more fire. Retreat the Embor. Because if I play a switch, I cannot get the lightning energy back. I actually have to retreat. If I were to switch and send out RDL, there's no way I could actually use Ozone Buster. So I have to go through this disgusting process of attaching a bunch of energy and retreating, and then next turn I have to Fisherman. So basically it all comes down to this. I can retreat to RDL. Alright, did that. I'm just going to bench everything in case he has a judge. I might as well even attach the fire. At this point, I am conceding to a catcher. I realize I absolutely lose to a catcher. So I'm just going to play my hand down as far as I can, in case I get judged, which is something people don't always think about. If he were to judge me, I would want to draw this Fisherman back, so I want to play down as many cards as I can, get rid of all the junk cards, and narrow it down to cards that are only going to help me. So, he plays another Bill, and last time I checked, Bill is not a Fisherman. So, what would I lose to here? A catcher, a reversal, I wouldn't put it past him, or something funky like a Shaman moving a bunch of energy to Tornadus and then a switch. But hey, what? He actually just hit me for 90, and I'm going to Fisherman, and wait, did this happen? I was down 4 prizes. This is ugly. I never would have guessed I would win this game in a million years. But is this happening? I'm gonna Ozone Buster? I mean, I was like a second away from conceding for the entire game. And here I'm taking my last 2 prizes. What? Alright, so this is just a lesson. First of all, don't give up until the end. And when things break down, this happens in any game you could ever play. If you play sports, in football and basketball, anything, when you're trying to run a play and the play breaks down and everything is not going as planned, everything just kind of blows up. You still have to figure something out. You still have to try to make it work. You can't just freak out and then throw the ball up in the air and then give up. That's not going to get you anywhere. So, this is just a lesson. When you get in a situation where things are not going as planned, don't freak out. Try to find a way out with what you have. Sometimes you just can't do anything. That's fine. But sometimes I see people just give up when they don't have to. I see people concede a lot when there are actually options out on the field. Even though they're not too likely, you might as well try them. Why not? Now, the only situation where this wouldn't apply is like a top cut match where you might have to concede to save time. In that situation, sure, I can see conceding. But if you're just playing a normal game, play it out and think about your options. Go with what you got. And sometimes it'll work out. Sometimes you fall behind 4 prizes to a bad Don fan, and it's just life. But don't give up, even though, I was about ready to cry and just quit playing Pokemon forever. Just, never lose your cool, because that's just going to end up worse. So, that's really all I got for the game. It was just kind of funny, because I was getting dominated by the Don fan double spinning me to death. And it was embarrassing, but somehow I won. So, with that, I am going to open it up to the chat and have some Q&A session here. So, at the end of the show, I just want to open it up, maybe have some people ask questions. So, if you have anything for me, ask away in the chat, and I'll do my best to get to all of you guys. So, ask me some questions about like gameplay situations, anything like that, anything strategically Anything you're wondering, go ahead and ask. Alright, so first one. Where did you get your Snorlax? Man, I must have gotten that like 6 years ago. Hold on. Alright, so I got this for Christmas one year. I want to say it was like 6, 7, or 8 years ago. They actually sold these at Sears a long time ago. I don't know where you can get them anymore, but this poor guy he's seen better. Sorry, my microphone fell. He's seen better days. Hold on, let me just fix that here. Alright, so as you can see, he's got some damage. He's been through better days, but he's still a part of the family. So I don't know, search somewhere on the internet. I actually don't know what to say. Yeah, I got it as a present a long time ago. I wish I could find another one. I've actually looked for more, I just can't find them anymore. Alright, what else do we get? Alright, so everything is about Snorlax.